establishing a online and point-of-sale payment solution.
Good morning. My name is Jocelyn Williams. I'm with Stevenson's Academy of Hair Design in New Orleans and the wife of James Williams.
From Pouillet Career Center. I'm an instructor there in Harvey, Marrero, Louisiana.
And we had two young ladies who wish not to be identified.
And I'm Ellen Tanner. I'm a court reporter, and I take down the hearings.
It's Melinda's daughter and niece, I found out.
I have a question, Steve. It's from Melinda. It's got Williams as her last name on the on our letterhead in minutes, but I thought you said another. You said Tilly, didn't you?
Williams is my maiden name. I don't know how that wired up somewhere.
So we need to change it to Tilly. It's Tilley.
Yeah, it's on.
That's what's on
It's
here.
changed.
It is
The
changed.
one I sent you before.
Okay. A little behind.
All right, so we have reached the appointed time,
Okay.
and Ms. Ann, at this time I will ask you to proceed.
I'd like to call our meeting to order, and it's wonderful to see your faces here, and I feel like everybody has smiles. That's always a good start for us, and glad to have you guests, and I hope you will enjoy your time. Might be some times you won't enjoy it, but those are fewer than the good times, and we welcome all of you and our guests as well. Sherry, you ready to start swearing in?
I am. I would ask all the board members who need to be sworn in to stand at this time. And I'm going to swear everybody in together, so I'm just going to go, when it gets to your name part, we'll just go around and then we can say the oath together if that works for everybody. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
Hey, we need to change for you.
Jill, did you have your stuff?
Yeah, I've already been sworn in.
Okay, you already turned in your oath for this term.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws
That I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all of the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a member of the Louisiana State Board of Cosmetology,
as a member of the Louisiana State Board of Cosmetology,
according to the best of my ability and understanding,
according to the best of my ability and
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, you are all now official members of the Louisiana State Board of Cosmetology.
James, would you give our invocation, please?
Let's bow our head for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come this morning thanking you for all of your many blessings. Thanking you, Lord, because we know that it is you that control all things. We ask a special blessing on this committee and those who are here for various reasons. These things we ask in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Mel Brown. Here. Jill A. Bear.
President.
Deidre Delpit.
President.
Edwin Neal.
Present.
William Grayson.
Present.
James Williams. Francis Hand.
President.
Melinda Taylor. 8 board members present, and there is a quorum.
I think it would be good for our agenda if we would have our consent agreements prior to the hearing, and it will give you an idea of content. And so if there, could I have a motion to revise the agenda?
So moved.
A motion. Second.
All in favor? Do we have any other additions? If not, okay. Our April 4th board meetings, like Steve said, we've missed a couple of months, so this is good to be back and hopefully get business taken care of. I guess, Jill, you're the only one that would know if there was any changes or anything on that.
No, there was nothing.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we accept those board minutes?
Jill.
I move that we,
I move that we accept the board minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Steve, our guest.
Well, yes, ma'am, I think we've introduced everyone, so I guess we're good to go at this point. And, ma'am, would you introduce yourself? You're the only one who has not.
Sure, I'm Natalie Kogan with About Face Amendment.
So we will, if you will look down to the, past the guest to A on your agenda. An explanation. We have been collecting our license fees by check, money order for, about 100 years. We have not had the opportunity here to let people pay with credit cards or online. We've tried to have that done. It did not succeed. Very expensive proposition. A group, a company known as Paystar approached the board several months ago, came to the board, presented their wish to be able to place their business on our website and allow our licensees to pay by credit card. The difference here is that we were unable to, because of the cost, do that in-house. But because this company has the ability to do it, they will be able to collect our license fees by credit card online. They will not charge the board at all. A fee of $3.95 is the charge for anyone who wishes to pay online. So therefore, our people in the state will be able to, if they're, the next day is your birthday, you can go online and pay by credit card. And you know what? We need to get to the 20th century. It's the 21st century now. We need to move up a little bit. Now, the board has heard the presentation. I have gone over all of the material with Paystar. We were to approve it last meeting, but of course we did not have a meeting last time. So Jeff Humphrey is here with Paystar. I will just tell the board that it is an opportunity for us and our licensed people to be able to pay online at a very minimal charge to them. It costs our board nothing, and we get things done that way. So let me introduce Jeff Humphreys, and Jeff, if you would just like to
Yes, sir.
talk to them a moment.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. As Steve said, we're providing a no-cost solution for this. We basically, the integration point is simply a link on the board site that when they click pay online, they enter their license number, or I think that's pretty much what it is, the license ID, and then another identifying piece of information. That then brings up, we upload all of your receivables, right? The license information to a secure website. Then once they enter their license ID and the other identifying piece of information, it brings up the amount due, the date it's due. If there are any late charges, it automatically applies those, tells them the total due, and this is all 100% PCI.
Board see in 6 months if they, wish to continue. I'm sure you will if we're running smooth, but I think we need a review period, and I would like that proviso put in if possible. Is
I
it-
think that's probably one of the biggest requests that we've had, or questions, when can we pay online? Because that's what everybody does now. So do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we go ahead and we accept, paying online,
Second?
I'm sorry.
through the company, what's your name?
Paystar. Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're entering the new world. Mr. Steve?
Yes, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first up on the schools, we have a Pat Goins Ruskin. Many of you recognize the name of Pat Goins Schools. They've been in existence for many years. They've operated in the Freeport, Ruston, Monroe area. We last year had the death of the owner of the company. Since they have inherited, the children have inherited the Bossier City facility, but the Ruston facility has been sold by Pat Goins. And we have had the folks here on several occasions. We've gone over the information. You have not, but we, if you will look, all of the sheets on Pat Goins in your agenda registry. We have that company, Allure Academy in Ruston, LLC, is the company that has bought Pat Goins. They have had their inspection. They have had all of their title work done. They have had, they are not changing any of their curriculum. They have presented all of the work to the board before. They were up to be approved last meeting. All of the folks from Pat Goins Allure came for the meeting, but we did not have the meeting. So this month, Michael, the owner, is in Europe, actually. So I'm going to give you a moment to read through. This is a matter-of-fact board change that we have to do with the sale of the school. Several things have to happen. We have to collect all of the information. It has to be run through the court. Everything has to be done properly. We have to have an inspection of the school, the curriculum. If it changes, the board must collect the curriculum changes. The curriculum did not change. All we are asking today, we are in the final process of transferring the sale of Pat Goins Ruston to Allure LLC.
Yeah, it is an accredited school.
Yes, it is an accredited school, and this last week, the Federal Department of Education made a visit to the school and has continued their approval for that facility. So everything's go with it.
It's the same name of the school.
It's the same people.
That bought the Ruston School, it's the same. Well, they have been working on this quite a while, because Mr. Goins was a very sudden death, and which kind of left the family in quite a bit of limbo, as happens when there's a sudden death. So they're choosing to get out of the business. questions for Mr. Steve? Deborah? Actually, all the schools, they have to submit all the information to the office, and Deborah over in the corner and Mr. Steve go through it. But Deborah does the majority of the work on the schools and making sure everything is in place that it's supposed to be. So when she usually gives a nod, we know they have everything in.
Yeah, we were waiting on the final inspection, which we received, and everything else they've already turned in. We just need you guys' approval, and that's it.
Can I have a motion to approve the transfer of the school?
I'll make the motion to approve the transfer of the school.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let them know they're ready to go.
Got it.
The representative from St. Martin. Nope.
This is just an informative.
This is just a name change. A technicality on the second one is St. Martin Parish Technology Center is asking that we do a name change, which is required that the board see that they're see the request and approve the request for a name change only. The old name and address is St. Martin Parish Technical Center, and the new name that they're requesting is College and Career Readiness Center at the new address. And so I think everything is just a technicality on this, just informing the board of a name change and the address change, which is around the street. But that's cut and dried on this one, Sam.
So you're okay on this?
Do I have a question?
Anybody with a question? They have been in business already for, it's one of the state's schools. So it's just basically a name change and an address change.
So we don't need a motion on this?
Yes,
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Third is Collier Career Center. Is Ms. Frazier? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mrs. Renita Frazier. And the background on this is that we have 63 students under your jurisdiction. It has been the board's pleasure to require that each school have at least 2 instructors. Now, because if someone's sick one day, and you do not have an instructor and the hours go unattended, Ms. Frazier has a question because they have a little trouble acquiring a second instructor. Sherry, would you like to explain the instructor provision?
The instructor provision is in legislation, so it was a requirement set by the legislature that they have to have at least 2 teachers on every campus. But beyond that, the student-teacher ratio is 1 to 20. So even if you have 20 or less students, you're still required to have 2 instructors, as Mr. Young said, because even if you have less than 20 students, you may have some in the classroom, some on clinic floor, those sorts of things. So it takes at least 2 people to supervise that. And if one person is out ill, there needs to be at least 1 person available for those hours. But it is a requirement that's set by the legislature, not by the board.
So yes, ma'am, this time go right into it.
Right, so the school system is in agreement with the 20 students. We don't have to schedule it more than 20. But what I did was I thought we were supposed to have, you could have 20 per class, because I have an AM session, I have a PM session. So when it was brought to my attention, once we had 25 students, because this is the first year, and I don't know how long that we had 25 students. So, and every year about December, we have some of the students drop. So I guess that's why we took 25 or whatever. We didn't think it was a problem, which in December it did drop to 20. But my biggest issue was needing a senior instructor, which I am, and we had 2 instructors, but one instructor only had like 3 students for the whole school year. So the school board questioned that, and they were like, you know, if I was able to cover everything. I was able to do all the paperwork, take care of the students, teach, instruct, bring them to state board, and for the last 5 years I had perfect attendance. So I thought maybe, I mean, I didn't know I was in violation until this year when I received something saying in 30 days you have to have another instructor. That wasn't something, because it's not a private school, I can just hire somebody. I can't hire or fire anybody. So when I brought it up, it was like, they would rather get rid of the program pretty much than to have an instructor to have 3 or 4 students in the classroom for our entire school year. I mean, they really, I'm already fighting with the Board of Education because they're saying that cosmetology is not a career. So I have to take a class, you know, a micro enterprise class to make my class relevant. So we're fighting with that. So to tell them that you need to hire an instructor just to oversee, well, you need to hire another instructor for me to oversee, I guess. I don't know what they're going to do about that. So come August, I don't know if they're going to shut the program down or whatever. But for the last 5 years, I've been doing it myself without any problems. And Ms. Josephine is our instructor, our inspector. She's come to the school often and I have never been in violation ever for anything, paperwork or anything. But I did get in touch with the instructor that retired, but she was forced to retire. She was willing to substitute if I needed it. And another lady, I called for a job. She actually called the wrong number. And she was willing to substitute as well. She's a licensed instructor as well, but I don't even really know what to do. I don't know if you're going to close the program down or they're going to close the program down. And, I don't really know what to do. I've been doing. I'm a senior instructor. I've been licensed since 2000. I've been there since 2006, doing everything. All the paperwork, teaching. I bring my students to state board. They're passing. They're getting their license. So, I really don't know what else I could do right now.
A little bit more background. The requirement to have at least 2 instructors became law in 2010. And this school, as I appreciated, which you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're in a public school,
high school.
K through to a high school,
Right.
And do you have a clinic floor, or
Yes.
you just teach in theory?
Yes, all of that is, I teach theory and clinical practical. We have, it's 3 classrooms actually, but they're all adjoined together. And we have stations inside the theory classroom as well. Plus we have labs, and it's pretty big. But because our class is so small, sometimes I may have like 3 or 4 senior students, so they're able to work. It's just, Ms. Josephine can tell you how it's set up, but I'm able to pretty much instruct all of them.
Because it's in one big setting.
Right.
So you're not closed off another room.
No.
So how many students do you have right now?
Well, every year change. So I don't know how many students are going to return for their senior year, but as of the end of last year, I had 20. But 4 of those students graduated, so they're done. So it just depends on how many of the juniors are going to return next year, which I'm pretty sure a lot of them won't. So that's how we always have a smaller senior class and we have juniors. But we can't control that because however many seniors we have, that's what determines how many juniors we can take. So they're in agreement with that. They say 20 students, and it's 20 students, that's it. We can't have any more, so they don't have a problem with that.
And this is just daytime classes, correct?
Right, I have, the first session is from 7:15 to 10:15, and from 11:30 to 2:30. And in their senior, I have the same class from August to May, but in December, from January to May, I was able to work it out with their counselors at the schools to schedule them all day. The seniors can come all day. They were able to have early release, but instead of getting early release, they added my school so they can come all day, so they can practice and
So they can actually
their
get the
hours.
1,500 hours
Right,
to test?
right. because it changed, the state changed the diploma. We have a career diploma and we have a regular. So now they don't have that many credits, they don't need that many credits. So they're able to take my class all day instead of an early release. And we just did that in the last 2 years.
Are they allowed to get 15 credits?
Some of our high school programs only offer 500 hours, and so it's primarily theory. This is one of the exceptions. She's offering the whole program. She's able to get her students through the whole program. But most of the high school programs are limited in the number of hours, and some of them are only limited to theory classes.
And I have to say, it's kind of like a fine line, because we're not just dealing with this board, you're dealing with, you know, the school. So, I mean, this is it. I would suggest personally that I think that with the legislature and schools, that we would, that has all these career centers in there, that we would maybe need to have a meeting with them about their curriculum and how many are allowed to be teachers, because I feel that the school board doesn't want to have to put out any more money for an extra teacher.
Right, these are not tuition charging schools.
Right.
There's no tuition charging schools.
Right.
No, exactly, so it's a different ballgame.
Well, we did, the president of the School Owners Association and myself met with, the guy's name, at the Department of Education that's over the career, John, yeah. And at that time, they were interested in putting more in career schools. However, since we require a license rather than just a certificate, he said, well, this will not work for us. So he said there, I think the former Farm Tech, I think, they have to have a license as well. So he said, anyone that requires a license, it's not gonna work with our career schools. So
Because
this,
in Shreveport years ago at Booker T, they had a cosmetology program, and they graduated in their license once they came out.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing too. Since
I think they're probably not, what, 2 or 3 maybe, Sherry? Maybe 2 or 3 that have full.
They have a full curriculum.
The others have the 500 hours of theory.
And they actually get, student financing?
No.
Nothing, so it's free for them.
For your public school.
Steve, did you want to add something?
Well, the only thing I have to add is that if the state law says 2 instructors.
And the state law, I think, when this was enacted, there really wasn't any discussion about the high school programs and non-tuition charging schools. And maybe that's a distinction that you might want to consider in the future, but there is no distinction in the law between tuition charging schools and non-tuition schools.
At what grade level would you have to put the students into the program in order to have 1,500 clock hours at the end of their senior year?
The junior year. You start off in the junior year, because I do evening classes too, so it's only 2 days a week.
But on a regular situation?
Yeah, it's junior year. They can start at sophomore year, this year, but they have to have about 15 credits, or I think it's 16 credits. But I've always started at junior year.
But as a policy, at what grade level do you all put them into the program?
Juniors.
You all are
Juniors
put
and
in at the junior year.
Right.
And in those 2 years, they get their 1,500 block hours.
Correct, yeah.
State law says that a student may join a school or become a student if they have completed 10th grade and are 16 years old. So it must be completion of the 10th grade, and they must be 16 years old.
you feel about this?
Well, I would sure hate to see the program ended, you know. It's just so, you know, so many kids don't know what they wanna do, you know, they can do that while they're still in school. They don't have a cost at it at such an early age. And I would just hate to see it not still be viable in the places that it's already being offered. And that there should be some
But are
amendment.
we allowed to go against our law, like on the legislature?
Well, I don't, you know, we're not allowed to go against it, I'm just saying that maybe it's something that we can revisit our law.
So right now, is that she still has to have more than one instructor.
The provision that we're looking at in section, I believe y'all have copies of the law. Are they in the packet?
They were sent us.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's in Title 37, which is Chapter 6A that regulates the practice of cosmetology. It's 595A4 is particularly what we're looking at. I'll review that for yourself.
Probably towards the back of the book.
It's in Title 37, is the revised statute.
It's in the back.
546 is our rules that are in the administrative code. Now, the rules are adopted by the board and they can be changed by the board. So that's your Title 46 packet, but Title 37 are revised statutes, and those are enacted by the legislature.
Saying if I may make a suggestion,
Okay.
that on this particular case here, that the board address and send a letter of notification to the school system that state law requires 2 instructors, and that unless or until the law is changed, that stands.
I personally think that's a good idea, because we can't go against the law.
If we give them notice now, to go to the school year, maybe they can work something.
Right.
They're pushing any little thing they wanna just, we're the only school in the whole parish. We're the only cosmetology class. They shut every other one down in our area. They have one at Landry Walker, and I heard that they were gonna shut that down and implement a choir class. So, I mean, we're not respecting it as a career at all. And I'm really fighting to keep it. I have a class in July I have to take to get another certificate, micro enterprise, just to teach, you know, cosmetology, for them to recognize it as a career. So I don't really see them, and they don't have a problem shutting down programs, because we had 25, now we have 10. And they fired that 15 teachers just in an email. So it's, I just gotta try.
Understand, and I'm sure you've been doing a good job. But we will notify the board, maybe it's something that.
We will implore the board to keep the cosmetology when you like it.
Because for all of you around this table that have been in business for all these years, it is a career. I get very frustrated with people who say, this is not a career. Some of the people that might say that need to talk to people who have made a very nice career out of this profession. So,
Very true.
yes. do you want, let's have an approval for Steve to send that letter.
Madam Chair, if
Yes.
would be acceptable, since you're about to take that vote, I'd like to address that issue very briefly. I will not take long.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Robert Burns. I'm with Sound Off Louisiana. It's a blog that I periodically put out coverage on this. I find it a little interesting that you say that we cannot break the law because of everything. I think that's the whole purpose of the board being here, and certainly you cannot do that. However, I will point out that on the meeting of April 13, 2015, that's the beauty of modern day technology, a motion was made to make an exception, just as she's asking for, that being L.B. Landry, which has been referenced here, Walker High School, the addition of an instructor. Laura Morrow made the motion to accept L.B. Landry to use only one instructor, as long as a substitute is available on standby, provided that there are no more than 20 students in one class, and they must send a letter from the substitute teacher to the board. Michelle Hayes seconded, and the motion was carried by unanimous vote. I'll briefly state, as I think Ms. Morris has eloquently stated, this is a statute. You can't have variations to the statute, yet it was done here. For those of you who are the new members, if you haven't been brought up to speed, there was a significant hearing involving Nelda Doral, who runs a school, who was cited for this very violation. I know Ms. Morris in the court hearing this past Monday in Judge Johnson's courtroom said that was not the core thrust of the hearing. I think Ms. Doral's defense attorney, Edward Landry, made pretty significant points that every single complaint that was filed with this board should have been adjudicated in a civil courtroom, as opposed to this licensing authority. But I will point out that that is the central core, one of the issues as to, and I have the video of Ms. Morris grilling her on not having a second instructor. You also have Mr. Rao, who stated emphatically about, well, why was this exception made? And there's no question it was made if anybody wants to view it. So I think the board's gotten itself into a little bit of a quagmire and realized these are all new folk, you know, well, except one. Well, two, I'm sorry, two. I kind of excluded chairman because I started, in fact, I was saying, well, there's only 7 members here, and I kept trying to figure out, oh, they're naturally the chairman, you know. But at any rate, it will be an interesting quagmire. There's probably going to be, if I had to guess, 6 figures entailed in that litigation of the Doral situation alone. 2.5 days of deliberation, massive attorney fees. In fact, they're part of it. They're trying to have her pay $48,000 for the deliberations and the time that this board took. If it's unsuccessful, and we'll just have to wait, Judge Johnson's going to make his ruling sometime prior to July the 4th. That's going to become quite a little staggering cost. So I just wanted to bring that out. I certainly concur that you cannot violate the law, and that is a statute, but yet it was conveniently done on April the 13th, 2015. With that, y'all are going to have to accept my apologies. I have 2 court hearings to go to today. I'm running late for this one. It was very nice to get to meet all of y'all, but I'm going to have to wrap up and head on out. I look forward to seeing you in future meetings. I did get everybody. Thanks to Deborah, she helped me out. I got everybody's name down to be able to identify, so I always like to put faces to names, and without her help I wouldn't have been able to do that. So thank y'all so much. I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.